Hello my Earth Wars friends, and welcome to the CFTactics Base Building Guide Part 4, Laying Out Your Base. In the previous parts of the guide, we explored fundamentals of base building and concepts that you should adhere to and consider when laying out your base. In this part, we're going to see these fundamentals in action and show you how you can apply these to your base and increase your odds of a successful base defense. In Earth Wars, there isn't a Tfue base layout that is 100% impervious. There is always going to be a weakness or vulnerability in any base layout. The longevity of your base depends on several factors. However, even accounting for these factors in your layout, you are still going to have some form of a weakness in your base. It may be more difficult to defeat, but it is defeatable. Baiting your base. When bots are not under attack or executing an ability, they will attack the building next to them. Therefore, position your building strategically to force the enemy to go where you want them to go. Even simple build bots can be used to guide the enemy towards your kill zone or away from your high value buildings. Make them go in the wrong direction, waste valuable time, or have them walk towards their doom. And any of your attacking structures are still intact when your HQ is destroyed, then they were probably in the wrong place. Make sure that you position everything so that your enemy will encounter them as they progress through your base. That way, if you lose, you have the satisfaction of knowing that it was through sheer power and not because they avoided your defenses somehow. Starve your enemy. Keep your high value ability point buildings out of the way. We've emphasized this in previous parts of the guide. These buildings include your combiner lab, your space bridge, your research lab, and resource storages. Once destroyed, they'll give your opponents a quick boost that allows them to launch even more devastating special ability attacks against your base. Keep them hungry. Utilize your utility and resource buildings. Energon and alloy harvesters have some serious HP of their own, especially at high levels, so use them to delay the enemy while they get slaughtered on your defenses. They do result in your opponents getting an ability point per building though, so use them thoroughly and sparingly. Devious strategies. Don't be afraid to be devious regardless of your faction. Strategy is as much a necessity as it is brute force. Some devious strategies used in base layouts are Space Bridge Fake. HQ level 10 and below looks kinda like your space bridge, trying to fake out their opponents by setting their base up so that all the defenses seem to be protecting the space bridge in hope that the opposite attack is thinking that it's the headquarters, while the real headquarters is placed nondescriptly somewhere else. Time traps. This causes bots other than gunners to waste time bashing through walls to attack the building and can easily lead to teams losing the battle from timing out in battle. However, the time trap strategy has become less and less effective. That's due to the additional 30 seconds you gain at HQ 16 and above, and bot levels now being maxed at 70 for 4 and 5 stars. Building an effective time trap is becoming more difficult as the game matures and as you get higher up in the levels. A few bots, abilities, and power cores have been introduced that get around these, so it's not the winning strategy that it used to be. Outpost clusters. Cluster your outpost and combiner outposts together. This can stop the enemy in their tracks and cause them to fight multiple enemies at the same time while they get pummeled by surrounding defenses. Wall separations. Breaking up your enemy's squad by using walls to break up their pathing can confuse your enemy bots, and or spreading them out can be a detriment to their offense, especially when the squad has bots that are dependent upon one another or have squad cores equipped. Divide, conquer, and obliterate. HQ Peekaboo. At level 12, the headquarters building suddenly becomes huge, which means that you can hide another building behind it. Stick a high-level laser turret or mortar there, and attackers won't know what hit them until it's too late. Defensive clusters. I know in previous parts I recommended strongly against clustering defense buildings. However, I also noted that as you upgrade your base, the buildable area gets less and less, and clustering will become an inevitability. You'll want to build these clusters accordingly to your base and multiple strategies that can happen on your base. Laser turret clusters. Add autocannons or a missile launcher to them. Mortar clusters. Try to add a laser turret and an autocannon around them. Shield generator clusters. A lot of people like to put missile launchers and shock towers along with these. Some people even put build bots and outposts along with them. Stasis mine clusters. Add autocannons, laser cannons, or beam lasers to them. Harvester clusters. You can add autocannons, laser beam cannons, stasis mines, spider mines, or mortars. You can even throw in an outpost or two if you want. I'm going to note that defensive clusters are not a must-do or must-have cluster recommendation. These are strictly suggested cluster groups. I strongly recommend trying your own combinations as well. Avoid campaign base designs. While in the previous parts of the guide we did say get inspired and try base designs you've come across in battles, we did forget to mention to avoid the base campaign designs. Yes, while these base designs are designed to give you a challenge, once they've been beaten, it's easy to beat them again and again. Draw inspiration from them, but don't use them directly. Use strategy as a trap. Use the strategies against the player. Various teams can be comprised of bots with rushing abilities or stealth abilities. Use those against the player. These strategies, while generally good for the offensive player, can be used against them to only quicken their defeat. Take for example a rush team. Deliberately creating an area of your base so that your opponent will rush to it can be a delightful trap. Build your base to counter various strategies, not just one. Test your base in the base trial section and test various strategies against your base, not just how you play. It helps to understand the different strategies the game offers. Countering the attack strategies. Countering sack attacks. This can be done using a variety of buildings in Earth Wars, such as your stasis mines. Equipping stasis mines with motion sensing mines or flare mine cores are a couple of ways that come to mind for countering the sack attacks. AoE. Countering AoE attacks can be done primarily by keeping things out of range. That can be difficult the higher you are in your base. But that's just one of the things you can do. Using cores like laser-guided missiles on your missile launchers is a defense that can, but not always, alleviate an AoE attack. Anti-hacking cores near shock towers are another defensive take on preventing an AoE attack with your own base. Countering rush attacks. Rushes can be countered in several ways. The most effective means is having multiple defensive buildings attack the squad and or the rusher, though this isn't only reserved for the rush attacks. Using combiners. Having a combiner be available on offense was a great addition to Transformers Earth Wars, and for a brief time it was a game changer. That's where the combiner outpost beacon comes in. But there is a caveat. The combiner outpost beacon costs Or13 to activate. Combiners can be a great distraction to offensive teams and can even be a primary defense on some of the more scarce areas of your base. Some players like them hidden behind the headquarters, some like them directly in front of the headquarters, and others like them in scarce areas or right up front to greet the opposing team. Whatever position you select to place your combiner outpost or beacon, be sure to have it activated. Putting together these fundamentals and exploring them as we've discussed here can definitely help you optimize your base against attacks. If you like this or any of my videos, please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps, my friends. I've been your host, CF, and this has been Base Building Part 4. In Part 5, we'll address the practical approach to designing your base. See you on the battlefield, my friends.